So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to some part of the world. My name is Prashant Nair, and we are back with another edition of the FIIOB podcast. Before I introduce my panel, I would like to ask you all to subscribe our channel and also follow our content. Also follow the other channel, which is FIIOB TV, where you can watch live matches and appreciation of the local teams as well. So I want to start this podcast with a special mention. One team is in the ESL, one isn't. Okay, thankfully one isn't. Their fans made sure that it was heard loud and clear. And Peter Cech came and spoke to the fans. I'm talking about Chelsea versus Real Madrid, and possibly two of the most iconic teams in the respective league. You can argue that Chelsea were a historyless club, but then things change. Chelsea are one of the most consistent performers in Premier League at least, and they have more number of European titles than Arsenal. So I'll give that to Chelsea. But and I'm talking about another team which is Real Madrid, who are the kings of Europe. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They are the most consistent team in terms of Champions League. They mean the Champions League to certain people, and fair play to them, because Champions League is all about Real Madrid and he who must not be named, who at one point of time played there and changed the scenario of that club to a certain extent. So before I start my podcast, I have Deepan and Karan who are going to represent Chelsea, and I have, as usual, Rajdeep and Shubhadeep who are going to talk about Real Madrid and Florentino Perez and so on and so forth. So no more banter, guys. I promise I'll try and keep as civilized as possible. I'll go to Rajdeep. Rajdeep, before I go to the Champions League, I want to ask you. The league looks very closely fought. It's not over, but you still have a chance. 3 points difference. It's matter of time that someone will slip the gap, and then you might just get in charge. In that case, are you focusing primarily more on the league and then saying, you know what, it's Chelsea, it can wait a bit, or you're saying that get the 3 points in the league, Chelsea is also equally important?
Both matches are important. We don't really focus. We are not really focusing on any particular game. Every game is important. Every game is a final.
और उसके लिए प्लेयर भी चाहिए ना फोकस करने की. 10-12 बच्चे हैं, उसमें से भी खेलना है. ठीक है, fair enough. But Shubhadeep, what Rajdeep said, every game is a final. Agreed. I mean, most big clubs play that manner. You know, every game is kind of their last game. But don't you think that right now league is of a more priority, because Zidane has been questioned in terms of his management, in terms of his style, in terms of what he has done in the start of the season. Then came the middle part where he picked up. Now the pressure is really on other teams to step up, because everyone knows that Madrid is closing on the gap. So in that sense, what's more important for you, the Champions League or the league itself?
See, the thing is, before the start of the video, it was pointed out that we are not as successful in the league as we have been in the Champions League, and that has been talked about a lot. And in recent years, that is starting to change. Like we have got the edge over Barcelona in Clásicos now, and personally, I would want the league more than the Champions League. But this is our best chance to win the Champions League. See, Bayern Munich are eliminated. Barcelona are eliminated. One of PSG and City will be eliminated. So this is definitely our best chance, because next season we might not get a chance to win it. So I don't think it's about prioritizing one competition now. Just go ahead and play the game. Try to win.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I'll go to Karan. So Karan, when you talk about Real Madrid, right, for people who watch Premier League, we know that if you are successful in Premier League, the next automatic step is one of those big giants, right? Either a Barcelona or a Real Madrid. Has to be. That's how European football is.
Exactly.
There is a special charm to these two clubs. And in the last 7 to 8 years, your club has sold off two of the most prized assets to both of them, Barcelona and Chelsea and Real Madrid, but Real Madrid in particular. And you obviously got Mateo Kovacic, etc., etc. That's a different story. But in terms of Eden Hazard versus Thibaut Courtois, whose loss hurt you more? If I'm talking from a neutral perspective as a United fan, I was happy to see Hazard go. I was like, okay, one less tormentor in Chelsea team. But Thibaut Courtois left a sour taste in the mouth, right? Because he publicly kept saying that Chelsea are blocking my transfer. I want to go to Madrid. But deep down, you knew that Thibaut Courtois was such an integral part of Chelsea, because he was the wall behind that defense. More than that, he was a leader in himself.
Right,
so
he was.
Whose loss hurt you more?
Okay. So if we get to talk about, if we have to talk about both these players, actually it was very difficult for all of us to see Eden Hazard go. But actually we were okay with the money that came in with the transfer of Eden Hazard. But actually Courtois' transfer was much difficult to take in for us. So because we let Peter Cech go only because we trusted in him, the guy himself. And then actually the way that he went out, it was very difficult because we didn't have a keeper. And actually the transfer season was about to close, and he just flew away. That's it. He just went away. So that was the worst part, and we had to invest in someone else.
You know, adding on to what Karan is saying, the saddest part about Courtois is like Chelsea scouted him when he was like 17, 18 years old. We sent him for in loan 3 years, and he became the goalkeeper what he was because of Chelsea. And he was supposed to give us 10 good years, right? You are letting go of Petr Cech. You are selling Petr Cech, or you are relieving him of his contract because you have Thibaut Courtois. You have one of the best goalkeepers in the world. We probably had our goalkeeping scenario set for 10 years. If Thibaut Courtois had remained.
There was no looking
and there was no looking back. We were absolutely sure that we always knew Eden Hazard will leave someday because every player like
because we all knew that Eden Hazard had to go to Madrid. That was his childhood dream.
That was his childhood dream. He would leave someday. We all knew that. We were like expecting it at some point of time, and I always knew that Eden Hazard will never be a Chelsea player for the rest of his life. But we never thought of that about Courtois. So Courtois was supposed to be our player, and like
that was difficult for us to take in.
He went AWOL, and that's the worst part. That he went AWOL. He didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know, in hindsight, when I think the deals which you guys did with Madrid hasn't gone well that way, right?
We got the money though.
Well. I mean, think of when I'm thinking you signed Alvaro Morata. We all know Alvaro Morata became a joke in Premier League. It's not that he's a bad player.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a good, decent enough striker. I'll not classify in the world's best strikers and all. But
I'll just say that
as a United fan, I was laughing at Alvaro Morata, and I was like, "This is the guy who we were chasing." Thankfully, we got Lukaku and not him.
Seriously.
Okay, so Alvaro Morata has been to Juventus, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Juventus. I think there are like 200 million that is the total money spent behind Alvaro
Morata. All of the clubs.
For some reason, I think this is basically a Ponzi scheme. I mean, some kind of what do you call it? Money laundering scheme that's going on. I don't think he's remotely worth 200 million.
So bro, this is actually very similar to the transfer of Darren Bent that we remember of the old times. 21 million. He's like going around for 20 millions. We're like, what the fuck, 20 million for a guy in that time?
Correct. Because Darren Bent, I remember he played for Aston Villa, Sunderland,
and 20 millions, bro. 20.
And
Charlton. He played for Charlton too. I think.
He played for Charlton. Of course, he came from Charlton, and everyone was like, Darren Bent. Okay, fine, he played for England. मतलब उस ज़माने में तो England के लिए तो कोई भी खेल सकता था. Aaron Lennon used to play for
Emil Heskey played for England for like.
Peter Crouch.
He's a legend. I mean, he's a legend.
Let's not talk about all this. I remember Adebayor playing for Real Madrid, so I don't really want to comment after that.
But jokes apart, okay, even Chicharito played for Real Madrid, okay.
But Chicharito was a good player.
Chicharito was a good player. Chelsea has done good deals with Madrid the other way. Under Jose Mourinho, Michael Essien was their backup left back.
Seriously.
I think the only good player who I remember Chelsea got from Madrid is Claude Makélélé to a certain extent. Okay, of course, he is a great player.
The role CDM is known for Makélélé role, bro.
You can say this to general football fans, but not to Barcelona fans because that's someone else.
That's Busquets' role.
That's the octopus of Bardia, as they call it.
The Blaugrana 4.
Yes. Not talking about them.
Oh, we are not taking digs. We're not taking digs.
We are not talking about them. Yes, no.
We are not talking.
Let's come back to Chelsea versus Madrid. Yeah.
But
we're talking about clubs that are in the Champions League.
Okay, that hurt. That's okay. But we're not
partly in the Super League or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
I'll just make one point that when Roman Abramovich bought us back in 2003-04, it was said that Chelsea is destroying football. Look how far we have come from destroying football to saving football, like a few days back.
Oh, I like the dig. Moving on.
Top 10 anime redemption.
Yeah.
Nice.
But moving on, guys, I just want to ask you this. I'll specifically ask to Deepan. Deepan, it is always said that Chelsea somehow have got the easy route till the semi-final compared to other teams. For example, PSG faced Dortmund, etc., etc. Whatever has happened in the Barcelona, they faced Barcelona, whatever. Chelsea has somewhat got a easier route.
Yeah.
Are you more confident with this Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel facing Madrid than what you were when you had Super Frank as your manager? No disrespect to the guy. I mean, he did what the job demanded of him. you wanted stability. Lampard did provide to a certain extent.
Yep.
But then his time was up and Roman did what he's always good at, which is doing business. Said, thank you for your valuable contribution. Now it's time to say goodbye.
It's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, and then got Thomas Tuchel. Is there a difference in the Chelsea squad? Is there a major increase in confidence because of Thomas Tuchel? Or is it just that what similarly happened under Jose Mourinho, players stopped performing and now suddenly those players are turning up?
What I believe is, see, the job that Lampard did, I don't think the last season that we have, I can't think of a single manager who would have bought in the performance that Lampard got from these players, from the players that we had. And I think, as people said, passion and desire, I think that's what happened last season. It was a lot of passion, a lot of desire. Lampard did show his tactical nuances in certain games. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I think the way we beat Tottenham in both the matches, the way we played against City, the way we played against City in the second match, which we won 2-1. Then I think we lost most of the games against Liverpool in last 2 seasons, but the way we played against Liverpool was really good. We had them.
I think you lost two. I think that was one Henderson.
Lost all the games against Liverpool.
Yeah, bro.
Like we have lost all games against Liverpool.
Long range, bro. Long range Henderson. That was painful to see.
Henderson Worldy, I remember, and I was like, Henderson is never going to score a better goal than that in his life now.
You guys are going back to like 2017 against Conte, right? That was way back.
No, he scored last year also, right? Henderson.
No, last season I think it was Salah. I think that goal in at Anfield.
Even that was Sarri
season.
That was Sarri season.
And not to forget Lampard telling Klopp, right? You can just sit down there.
Yeah. Just go and sit down there. Like one league that you have won and you are giving.
Yeah, it's just one league, and it's probably, which is true. I mean.
So what happened is, I think Chelsea got all the players that they got this season because of Lampard and Cech's pull. I think they sold the project brilliantly.
Marina.
Marina is there to do the deals, but I think you have, for players like Ziyech and Warner and all these players to come to Chelsea, I think you have to sell the project. You have to sell what you're trying to build, and I think Lampard and Cech both did that very well. Yeah. And Marina, with all her experience, the way she deals with transfers, we got those players done. But the problem is, we had 5-6 attacking players. We had Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. We were not able to get the best out of them somehow. Like Lampard was spamming crosses basically inside the box a lot of the time, and at times we saw that he's out of depth. Like he probably doesn't know what to do with the team. Like what I mean right now is 3 at the back that we play right now is probably the best team that we can play. Is probably the best formation we can play given the players that we have.
Correct.
We don't have many center midfielders. We have great attacking midfielders.
You have a great center midfielder, but he's on loan. So.
Yeah, we have like number 10s and a striker who doesn't score goals and stuff like that.
Gentlemen, most United fans absolutely love Ruben Loftus-Cheek because that man is a bloody engine. You just can't push him off the ball. Of course, having said all of that, he needs some more time. Sorry?
We call him Rolls Royce of a midfielder.
He's too good to play for Chelsea. He should just leave and go for a club where he can get regular football. Okay. I mean, that's a different story. I'm not going into that. Rajdeep, I wanted to ask you this. Okay. I'm not going to ask you about your former manager's transfers because there's only one gentleman whose name I will ask you. That's Florentino Perez. He does every dealing. But I'll ask you this question. How many players are fit enough to play this time?
We have like 15.
I think we can field the
They have
proper
16
11.
to be honest with you, but yeah, go on.
I think we can field a proper 11 without taking in the kids from junior team. I think we can. I think we can field a proper 11.
Achha, Rajdeep,
what about Eden Hazard? Eden Hazard?
No,
Eden is in the squad. He will play tonight, and I really hope he plays.
He doesn't get injured.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Rajdeep, I wanted to ask you this, okay? You guys know how to win a Champions League, and you guys have done it again and again and again. Of course, there is he who must not be named, his influence, etc., etc., etc. Let's say he won it all.
Absolutely.
बड़े भैया.
हाँ, बड़े भैया. फिलहाल जो अभी ESL में वो भी नहीं खेलेंगे, but ठीक है. But my point, Rajdeep, is there a change in mindset of the players when they play a Champions League game? Do you see the difference that there is a change in intensity, or do you think there's a change in tactic itself by Zidane?
No. There is that huge change in mentality because like when the anthem plays, our players change. You won't see Toni Kroos spamming passes throughout the midfield. You will see one pinpoint pass, and that will end in a goal.
Yeah.
So
Unlike certain players from certain fan base who claim, right? Okay, fair. Oh, sorry, I said I won't take big jokes.
Yeah. Like that ball from Cruz to Vinicius against Liverpool.
My goodness, that was
My
crazy
goodness.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, I can't even do that on FIFA, dude.
Seriously, man. It was good.
You
Yeah.
can't just
That's good.
roll that ball with that kind of grace. It was
The
like, you know,
backspin was just perfect.
you know,
Just
I was
perfect.
talking to someone the other day and I was just telling him, you know, I see a lot of cricket and I know I watch the game so much. There is this beauty about my favorite shot in cricket is a cover drive, because in a cover drive you require balance, you require the right backflow, and most importantly you need
head position,
class in it. Then forget all the technique, you need class to play a cover drive. Not everyone can play a cover drive. I mean, you can just swing the bat like that and theek hai, four gaya. But what Cruz did in that pass, right? The power was accurate, the backspin, like you said, was accurate. Vinicius anticipated, that's a fluke which I'm not going to talk about much. But above all, Cruz saw that move 3 moves behind. You know, as soon as he was about to receive the ball, right, he looked up once, then he looked at the field on the other side, and he decided, you know what, that area is open, I'm going to pass the ball. That millisecond of difference is what is the difference between a normal midfielder and a world-class midfielder. Now, having said all of,
I'm gonna stop where you want here.
yeah,
Tony Cruz and his passes, we see it every day, we see it every week. We don't really care. What I was very surprised at, Vinicius receiving it properly and that ball ending in the goal. That was the most surprising part.
So what are you surprised?
That is something that you don't see every week, right?
The ball.
Vinicius
Black magic.
properly receiving and the
And
ball ending in the net.
this is where Zidane's black magic kicks in.
Yeah, this is where it kicks in, according to
The Champions League juju.
Yeah. So Karan,
Mojo.
I'll ask you this, right? When you look at this Madrid team, when I looked at the start of the season, I looked at the midfield and I was like, too much experience, too much class, but can they pull off the magic week in, week out? Because Modric was getting 35, he'll be 36 soon. Then there is Casemiro. He's younger brother of Sergio Ramos, because if he doesn't keep his head straight, he'll get a red card.
Red card for sure.
Right? Then there is Tony Cruz, who's 31, 32, who can understand the game, but he can't do it all alone. He needs these two people around him. When I looked at that midfield, I was like, they have a chance, but I am not sure how long will they go in Champions League. Now we are in May, almost May, and these three gentlemen have just turned 10 years back of their life. And Luka Modric is suddenly looking like the guy who played for Spurs. I mean,
24, 25. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, we all remember, right? Luka Modric in Spurs.
Chelsea tried, bro.
genius.
Chelsea tried for him. Chelsea tried for him.
Everyone tried for him. You had to try for him. Obviously, Daniel Levy will not do the same mistake like he did to us.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you this, right? What do you think makes this midfield trio so special? You know, when you talk about trios, you know, there are a lot of trios like Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez. Then there is Benzema, Bale, Ronaldo. Messi, Suarez, Neymar, you know, all those two trios are all attacking trios. When you talk about a midfield trio, and you mention them together in the name, right?
For sure.
Say Casemiro, Cruz, Modric.
Modric.
What makes them so special? As a rival fan, what do you want to think about it?
Okay. So me being a Chelsea fan and facing them in semis, I would just hope that Kante would be able to just stop them. That's it. I would just want Cruz to be blocked by Kante all the while. I would just want.
You want an Ander Herrera over Hazard kind of a role.
Dil pe lagi yaar.
Sorry, I plug it.
I have a different opinion. So if you see the midfield three of Real Madrid, there are three players, as you said: Cruz, Kante, Modric, and Casemiro. And we have two midfielders. We will basically play a 3-4-3, which has two midfielders.
Correct.
So it has
2-6.
Jorginho and Kante is the most likely, because Kovacic is injured. I don't know how fit he will be. Probably he won't play. So right now, I think Real Madrid has an advantage in midfield. Has a man advantage in midfield, and that's why
strikers
you need
are
Kante.
Similar, bro. Don't worry about it. There is Vinicius and there is Werner.
So the thing about these three is Casemiro is a proper destroyer. He won't be passing the ball much. He will be, you know, winning the ball back basically. And when it comes to Cruz, he can play all the pinpoint passes. Basically, Cruz and Modric, they complement each other. Basically, they take up, one goes
Correct.
ahead, the other stays back. One
Yeah.
plays long balls,
That's
the
why
other,
when
drifts in.
Federico Valverde gets into that lineup, right, it just doesn't look different because those two
Yeah.
are in the same plane.
Very similar.
In the
It's
same,
only
yeah.
Valverde who's
Very
trying to
similar.
catch up with those
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. bro.
Yeah.
As
So
I would
those
like
two
to,
have
I would
some,
like to add
I
in
think,
something
have,
here.
yeah,
Sorry.
go on.
As actually talking about the midfield trio, so I would like to point out Mount and ZH here, because actually they would occupy the spaces which would be between the striker and the midfield. That is the best part. And so I think that Conte might be able to deal with them, and if Mount can find the right space between them, we might have a couple
A
of
game in
chances in
hand.
this game. Yes,
Let's
for
say
sure.
a game
Yes,
to run.
Mount can make something out of it,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Subhadeep,
because both our fullbacks are very good at going like wide and delivering crosses,
you don't
and
have a
both are
fullback, bro. You have a wing back.
wing back. Both are
Wingbacks.
wing backs. I mean, they can do that
Wingbacks.
relentlessly throughout the 90 minutes. They can do that, go ahead and come back like throughout. And the two number 10s that we have, I think Ziyech and Mount will be playing there,
Correct.
and with
For
Werner
sure.
Werner
Yes.
up front.
Yes.
So that's the most likely scenario that we will be playing. And basically, those two number 10s finding space in between the lines will be key.
I was going to Shubhadeep, but I'll just interrupt there and I'll just go to both of you. You mentioned two players' name, Pulisic, Ziyech, Werner, all those three players. But
Yeah.
you still haven't mentioned one guy's name who
Kai
I
Havertz.
think.
Kai Havertz.
Sorry?
He'll be on the bench.
No, not even Havertz. One guy who I really think is your best prospect, Callum Hudson-Odoi. And there is
he won't be there. He won't be there. He won't be there.
And
So-
I
so-
feel
be there in
very
the starting
sad
lineup
because
for sure.
I have this opinion about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think he's a brilliant player. It's a personal opinion. I think he's a brilliant player. You got to be special when Bayern Munich are really, really chasing you. Two,
Yes.
he hasn't done himself any favor by getting injured at the wrong time.
Right.
Then his comeback looked very difficult. And as soon as he's got a comeback, right? And a lot of Chelsea friends of mine always said that between Tammy Abraham and Callum Hudson-Odoi, we always prefer Tammy Abraham as fans because he's like that kid who we have seen so long that grown from step by step. You send him on loan wherever you want.
Championship, and he
goes out,
performed.
plays,
Though.
and
He
comes
scores
back.
20 goals. Yeah, for
25
sure.
goals, yeah.
And when you look
Yeah.
at Callum Hudson-Odoi, then you look at him, you're like, "Arey yaar, ye to Rohit Sharma jaisa hai." If it's
Seriously.
on his day, right, he'll just rip you apart. But he can't do it week in, week out.
Rohit
in a
Sharma is a
brilliant
very good
apart.
example, bro.
Sorry.
Can he
Rohit
rip you
Sharma,
apart,
perfect
really?
example, bro.
Yeah, because whenever I've seen him against United, right, I've seen him twice, and there are some runs in the game which he just makes, and I'm like, "That's brilliant."
No one can
And then
stop
he
him, bro.
stops.
No one
And
can
then he
stop him
stops,
on
and
his
I'm
day.
like,
On
"Bhai,
his
kya ho
day.
gaya?"
Yeah, seriously.
So
On
the
his
thing is,
day.
the
On
thing-
his day. Yeah. Sorry, sir.
The
go
thing
ahead.
with Callum Hudson-Odoi is, I think decision making is really poor. He doesn't know when to pass or when to shoot. That's one of the main problems. He
That
takes the
even
ball, he
Werner
goes into
doesn't,
good.
but ठीक है.
That would come
See,
up with time, bro.
Werner
He's
knows
he's
when
still
to
young,
shoot.
bro.
Okay?
He's still young.
Werner knows when to shoot, but he misses. That's a different ball game altogether.
Big
But
boy
Callum
effect.
Hudson-Odoi,
खोद रहा है भाई.
Callum
अपने
Hudson-Odoi.
अपने team में खोद तू.
No, I'm not saying about apne team. I'm just saying what I'm watching.
In
So
general, yeah.
yeah,
Fair
what
enough.
the thing with Callum Hudson-Odoi is he's a good player, as you said. Like with on the ball on his feet, he can do wonders.
Correct.
He makes those runs that you don't usually see, right?
Correct.
He makes those
And Reece
He's a
James
very
and him
inverted
along on the
winger
same.
kind of a role when you play him on the right or the left.
inverted winger.
Right, right.
Absolutely. He cuts in and takes that shot. Like he
Yeah.
tries to be Robin, but he doesn't have the finishing
Of course.
of Robin. And then at times when he needs to pass, he will take a shot, and when he actually has to shoot, he will try to find someone. I don't know. Like I don't get what the decision that he is making.
Similarly
Still
to
needs
what
time.
Deepan said, right? Sorry, Karan, you're saying something.
No problem. Actually, I would like to point out one thing here. Actually, our manager tried him when he first came in. He
As a
tried
wing
him
back.
on the right wing back, and then he really saw him that he really prospered there. But actually later on, if you just roll ahead a couple of weeks, and then he saw the real talent of Reece James, and
Reece James.
you never saw Callum on the pitch again.
Yeah, I know.
Right wing back.
There's a
Reece
reason,
James,
right? Reece James, I'll not talk much about Reece James as of now because my view of watching Reece James is always going to be Alphonso Davies. And I know it's a cheat code, it's an anomaly, but
seriously.
but that run by Alphonso Davies, and I was like, my goodness,
There's no
that's a joke.
stopping. There's no stopping.
That's a joke. You can't do that. But it would be very wrong of me to say that I'll only compare Reece James to that run. Of course not. Reece James is a phenomenal right back. You have to be good if you are replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold in the England setup.
In the English squad.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
mean,
a physical specimen at 19, 20, whatever his
yeah,
age
and
is.
I'm a huge fan of Reece James because his sister plays for my club's women's team.
Yeah,
So
I see.
Lauren
Yeah,
James.
James.
yeah, Lauren James.
Lauren,
So
yeah.
she's absolutely
She's great as
delightful
well.
to watch.
She's great as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
Great.
She's amazing. Both of
super
them
good
are
on the ball.
amazing.
She's
Seriously.
extremely good on the ball.
Seriously.
But you know what you guys said about Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I want to go to Shubhadeep. Shubhadeep, similarly, you know, at Madrid, I saw a player once, and I was like, "Damn, that is special. You can't do that so often." It's Asensio.
Yeah.
We have all sang praises for Asensio because when he burst onto the scene, right? I remember that touch which he had on the ball, he just
The
flicked.
best left foot after Messi.
Yeah, I mean, he just flicked. It was like he's got an extra second on the ball which other players don't have it. You know, and for me, someone who plays as a forward, I always judge players how much extra second they have. For example, I always said that why Eden Hazard is so great. It's not just because of his performance in big games. When
Or
he's
his
got the
bump.
ball, when he's running at you, right? Even in front of the goalkeeper, he looks into your eyes as if to say that, you know what, I'm here. It's my chance. Asensio had that look when he burst into that scene. Suddenly, Asensio's career has gone downward to a certain extent. I remember there was a point of time where, you know, as per rumors, United wanted to sign him and Madrid said 220 million, take it or leave it. That was the worth. Now you are at a stage where you don't talk much about Asensio. You're like,
22 million.
yeah, I mean, not even, forget 22 million. You're like, I just want you to have a good game. Forget your transfers. मतलब बेचना है तो बाद में देखेंगे, but just have a bloody good game. Do you know what exactly happened with Asensio? Is it just the injury, or is it just how Zidane has other plans for other players and Asensio is not included?
See, after he who must not be named left after the World Cup in 2018, Real Madrid had a very un-Real Madrid-like season. I think I kept on joking that this is not Luka Modric. He's been imprisoned somewhere in the Russian gulags, and this is some imposter playing as him. And Toni Kroos cannot get over the South Korea depression. I said all that, but because the season was like that, with the exception of Benzema and maybe Ramos and Courtois in some games, that was not Real Madrid. And Asensio was a major victim of that. I think you talked about him having that extra second of space. He still has it. If you watch some random La Liga game or some Champions League game, you'll see he still has that great touch. I think in his first 2 seasons at Real Madrid, he had around 15 goals plus assists, and they were very good, both Champions League winning seasons. But that season, that completely screwed him. He had 1 goal and I think 2 assists for that whole season. And right after that, in preseason, he got injured. So that's
Correct.
2 valuable years of a young player's career, and he really never recovered from that. But as you said, right now it's all about him having a good game, and he has scored goals in the last 2 months. So that is a positive. But one thing I'm very particular about, I will talk to about 2 Chelsea fans about this, is Fernando Torres, a player they very well remember for very different reasons.
I
He was
remember
not a
for all the
very
right
very
reasons,
close
so it's
to heart.
okay.
Yeah, bro. Likewise.
his most iconic moment is considered to be that goal in Camp Nou against Barcelona.
No, not really.
No,
So
no, no,
here-
no, no.
No,
The miss
not
against
really.
Man
A lot
United
of
is the most
people.
iconic moment. Sorry.
Yes, but I
Prashant
think
Nair,
Eden
I'm just gonna
Hazard.
tell you one thing. Your
Yeah.
legend Gary Nair had an orgasm when he scored that goal.
Of course, of course, he did, right? He did. There's no two ways about it. But that's Gary Neville. He can have orgasm about anything. But
Especially if
I
it's
don't want to go to
concerns
Gary Neville
Liverpool.
because I'll get the ESL
The
discussion.
ESL, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since you touched on it, for me, Gary Neville speaking on it was a bit of irony. You know, I wanted to just message him and say, "Bro, you did the same to Salford. You pumped
Salford,
in
yeah.
money.
I mean,
You gave him
yeah.
you gave them the budget, which the
Yeah.
non-league teams didn't have. But anyways, I'm not going
Anyways,
into
yeah.
ESL because this
So
will be another
Fernando Torres
tangent.
question, back to
There's too
Fernando
much
Torres.
to
Yeah,
talk
Fernando
about.
Torres.
Yeah. So I was what is the probability that can be the Eden Hazard moment in Real Madrid? Because he's, I think, now 30. If he doesn't improve on his injury, and I don't know what's going to happen in the Euros when he plays for Belgium. I hope he plays for Belgium
He
there
does.
because Belgium.
With Courtois and KDB shaking hands. Okay.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
bro,
Ow.
I'm not
Ow.
worried about Eden Hazard doing that to us. If Eden Hazard does that to us, he might as well. I mean, he's
He's
a
anyways a cult hero
champion
for
player.
Chelsea. I mean, I'll go as far as to call him a legend, but fair.
Yeah, imagine Timo Werner doing a Fernando Torres like in
I
this
don't know what
semi-final.
Yes, Real Madrid.
I don't know
be.
what sounded
But-
more worse. Was it my imagination of Timo Werner doing a Fernando Torres, you know, kind of just dinking on the right to the Courtois? Just
Yeah, bro.
scoring? I was like,
Yes,
oh my
yes.
god.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes.
It looked bad.
That is quite
Yeah, but
possible actually. If you see that the runs that he makes, that is quite possible. Trying to run in behind the defenders.
But
So
you
what
do
I
know,
will say
right?
is
That
Timo
is
Werner
Thibaut
will not
Courtois.
score.
He's
Timo
got
Werner
he's
will
six
give an
feet four,
assist to
6 feet
Ziyech.
five.
Assist.
He's going to just
Assist.
cover it. He'll just hug
Timo
Timo
Werner
Werner
will
and say, "Aja."
not score. He will
And but
assist Ziyech.
Ziyech. Yeah, Ziyech.
So
no, but this is a question to Chelsea fans from me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who do you rate higher in the club legacy? Is it Gianfranco Zola or is it Eden Hazard?
of
Like
course,
all
Zola.
emotions
Hazard.
apart,
No,
just based
Of
on
course,
what they
I
did.
have I have had this discussion before.
So
I've
many
had this
times. So
fight
many times.
before
And
with
Eden
people, and
Hazard.
I think I'm the only one who says Gianfranco Zola among the Chelsea fans.
Yeah, I remember that because you elaborated that in a post with Sagar Neil. You said that Eden Hazard was lacking in Europe after that 3-0 loss to Barcelona. I remember like talking to you on that.
Wow,
So do you
you know
think?
that.
It's so
Wow.
ironical, man. Chelsea fans saying lacking in Europe. I mean, Eden Hazard was the guy who showed them the light of Europe
Yeah, bro.
consistently.
Uh,
Yes. Eden Hazard.
so Eden Hazard's performances for Chelsea in Europe, he has scored one goal in Champions League knockouts for Chelsea, and that was a penalty against PSG.
PSG.
He has never showed up for Chelsea in a Champions
But
League knockout game.
but one thing I do want to point out
But
in the
I
seasons that
completely
Eden
agree that
Hazard.
he has brought Chelsea to Champions League
n-
every time,
No.
single-handedly. Whenever
But
we won
Not
the league
every
or when we
time,
finished
every
fourth.
year, every
Yeah,
bloody year. I
whenever we
hated Eden
finished
Hazard
fourth,
for
third,
it
or won the
because
league, it was
yeah,
Eden Hazard. Yeah, no
I
doubt
He
about
has
it.
been
actually, but
but
just
tormented
to
the
Absolute
defense.
just to
legend at the
add to
He's
club.
your point,
tormented.
right? Just to add to your point about Zola versus Hazard, I'm not taking any sides. Just since I'm a United fan, I equally dislike both of them. But if I think from a neutral's perspective, right? And I've said this on many podcasts and on many forums very openly. I've been watching Premier League for 20 odd years, and there are very few players who made me sit down at the edge of the seat and then realize, my goodness, that's a genius. I did that for Ronaldo when he made his debut. I mean,
Yeah,
I still remember the date. Lanky guy, curly
against
hair
Fulham,
falling here, and I was like, sorry,
hmm?
against Fulham or
yeah,
Middlesbrough or
Fulham.
something.
Bolton,
Fulham,
Bolton. I
He
think.
came against
Bolton.
Fulham, but he did not play. But then he played on
Right.
against
Yeah,
Bolton. That was his
yeah,
debut.
Right.
So he
yeah.
was there on the squad for Fulham, but didn't play.
Yellow teeth.
Yeah, yellow teeth,
Yes,
similar to
bro.
Klopp,
Seriously, bro.
whatever. But
Little bit
I
yellow
remember
hair.
when Ronaldo
Yeah.
ran right with the ball.
Right.
He won a penalty for us to give a
Right.
goal. When he ran with the ball, I was like, that's so close control. And then I saw Eden Hazard, and when I saw Eden Hazard, especially in big games, right, especially
Right.
against United, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Right.
I don't know. He had some weird fetish towards
Different
Arsenal.
beast.
He always loved them.
Seriously, bro. And the goal that he scored against
Yeah,
That
exactly.
Coquelin
Arsenal.
remembers.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Coquelin
I
does.
remember Eden Hazard running, and I was like, my goodness, what a scare this gentleman is. I don't know why the hell is he at Chelsea. He should have gone for Barca, Madrid,
Yeah.
Bayern, United. Back then, United was a big club. So at least these clubs, what is he doing there? And he ran. And I always say this to a lot of Chelsea fans, right? For me, there are certain Chelsea players who I'll never forget. One of them is Didier Drogba. I will never forget that gentleman not because he didn't score much against United. Of course he did, but Didier Drogba was Chelsea. I was like, he defines Chelsea. When the odds are down, when there is no one to expect, you can always expect Didier Drogba to stand up. Eden Hazard is one of them. When you think that nothing is happening in the game, you want something to happen. Eden Hazard always did that. Now, for me, that is Olivier Giroud to a certain extent. Very underappreciated,
That
very
is Drogba.
underrated. Does not have great
That is Drogba.
talent like the names I mentioned.
Yeah.
He's not even 1/10 of those players.
Right.
Let's not kid ourselves. But what Olivier Giroud does is he does his job, whatever his limited capabilities. I am a fan of such players. मतलब ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं हाथ में देने के लिए.
That is the
इतना ही है मेरे
professionalism
पास.
that he shows, bro. That is the
Yes,
professionalism
exactly.
that he shows, bro.
It's very
Like,
easy for a player of Olivier Giroud's ability to leave in January and go to Inter Milan, sit on the bench,
Barabar.
win a league now.
Barabar.
But he said, you know what, this team needs me. Lampard needs me. He said that I need you because there will be a time where my strikers will not score. And that's where I need you. He was
He'll
ready
come up
to
and
sit as a
score.
third, fourth
Yes.
choice.
Yes.
Sat there for 2 months, got his chance. One of the reasons why Chelsea did well
Which
last time
scored?
was Olivier Giroud's crunch
Oliver
goals.
Giroud.
So I'm a
Europa
huge fan of
specialist.
players like Giroud or someone like in
Seriously.
cricket it's Ambati Raidu.
Yeah,
Not
right.
great talented, but they'll do what the job is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Similarly, talking about that, right? Madrid have also got a player of that sort, but not in the sense of Olivier Giroud where the career is on a downward, and that's Eder Militao to a certain extent for me. Sergio
Okay.
Ramos is in his fag end of his career. I mean, let's be very honest. He's not going to continue for the next 10 years. He'll be there for another 2-3 years, max 5 years. Madrid have got a gem
maximum
in it.
2 years, man. Maximum 2 years.
I'm saying 5 hypothetically. जो भी है, MLS गया, Inter Miami FC गया, जो भी है, किधर भी जाए वो, ठीक है. He's got 5 years at best, if you put it. You've got a gem in Eder Militao. But still, a lot of Madrid fans say that, and Rajdeep, I wanted to ask you, a lot of Madrid fans are not very convinced, saying that, you know what, that hole between Varane and someone next, right? Eder Militao is not the guy. He can do, but he still doesn't have the pedigree. So we need a defender in the market in the summer. And again, coming to thinking that, you know, we made a mistake by selling Hakimi. We shouldn't have, whatever. That's a different debate. My question to you is Eder Militao the guy who can take that role of a Sergio Ramos, or do you really think you need a pedigree kind of a defender to play for Madrid?
See, before 2014 or 2015, Sergio Ramos was not the cult status hero.
Correct.
That La Decima goal brought him to the mark, and then it was all him.
Yeah.
And he became the club captain. He scored important goals. He's mostly
club captain. I don't agree, but I agree with Casillas in picture. With Casillas in picture, anyone being captain is a joke.
No, Casillas left at 2015.
No. In general, I'm saying with Casillas. With his,
but you know, when even Casillas was the captain, I have seen when Casillas was dropped by Mourinho or like for some other player or by some.
I like the name I like the name what he just said. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I used to see Ramos, you know, with the armband a lot of times for Real Madrid, even when.
Yes, he was the vice captain then.
He was the
vice captain as well for a long time.
Yeah, but it's very hard to imagine a right back from Sevilla, costing 18-20 million back then, will become
27.
A leader. Sorry?
27. He was the most expensive Spanish defender.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah. And then I never imagined ever in my life that Sergio Ramos would become what Sergio Ramos is today. I'm sure he might have also not imagined that.
Right.
Because his career has just seen a major jump. Like Rajdeep, you were saying, what you just said that that 2014 and 15 season changed it for him.
It changed everything for him. He became a totally mentality monster. He comes in the peak moments, gets in the big games, scores the goals.
Does he also talk to the president? El Presidente? No.
Not really.
Did he have a say in this new league called as ESL?
No. He is busy with his new show and some game show he's doing. He's busy with that.
But what about his contract situation? Like, is he leaving Real Madrid for sure?
We are still working on it.
I like
the way you said we.
I like
the way you said we are still working on it.
We are working on it.
Yeah, we are working on it.
Rajdeep is going to Spain tomorrow.
I am more worried about Rafael Varane here. ठीक है, Ramos ठीक है, Rafael Varane का भी कोई contract तो कुछ बात हुआ नहीं, मालूम पड़ा United Bayern Munich.
Varane still has 1 more year.
Yeah.
People can work on him later. Ramos is the priority.
It sounded very wrong, but ठीक है.
But we have to fix him for
who will be the first ESL captain of Real Madrid?
Karim Benzema, man. Karim Benzema.
But you know what?
On the topic of Benzema.
No, Shubhadeep, just a minute. Since he mentioned the name, I want to ask you this too. Karan, for example.
Yes.
Like Olivier Giroud, Karim Benzema is also not rated across the world footballing fraternity, right? People always say that, theek hai, Karim Benzema, okay, fine, he's an average striker.
Yeah.
But of course, Madrid fans rate him, love him, and respect him so much because of some set of Madrid fans, let me clarify. Some set of Madrid fans really love him, respect him, and all that stuff. You look at Olivier Giroud, it's the same, right? The situation is somewhat similar, but when I say situation is similar, not in terms of playing time and legacy and all that, they both are very selfless strikers. They both are strikers who rely a lot on movement. Even Olivier Giroud, for all that, right? His movement is still world class. It's like, as a United fan, me comparing a moment of Anthony Martial versus Edinson Cavani. At 34 years of age, Edinson Cavani gets between strikers and
still better. He's still better.
Creating spaces.
Right. Olivier Giroud does exactly that. I mean, even as a United fan, Giroud always scored against us. That's because of his sheer movement.
Right.
Between two defenders, when there is a small space, no one sees it, Giroud sees it, goes. Karim Benzema, a master of a game which is to create space for himself. He creates space out of nothing when the defenders marking.
There is a rating in FIFA called as positioning, that is 99.
For Benzema?
Yes.
I would say 100. because he creates space on the.
Seriously.
For example, I remember the goal. I think he scored against Liverpool. Was it Liverpool? He scored against the goal with lack of space. He just
Yeah.
turned on the left.
Yes.
Defender, I think it was Ozak, right? He went to the right and then came on the left and he just scored. And I was like,
How can you
33,
do that?
34.
कैसे
what are
करता
you
है
doing?
कैसे करता है यार
मतलब क्या कर रहा है 30 साल में भाई
कैसे?
तू चला जा MLS बस हो गया मैड्रिड का टाइम तेरे लिए.
So I'll tell you difference between Giroud and Benzema.
Yeah.
Giroud is a cult hero at Arsenal and Chelsea, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't happen.
But Giroud is not a cult hero at Arsenal. Only some set of
No.
Arsenal fans like him. Other set of Arsenal fans call him 12 million lamppost.
I mean, if you call him a 12 million lamppost, he has
He
given
was good,
5
bro.
seasons
He
for
was good, bro.
98
He was
goals.
decent. He
was
Five
very
seasons,
good.
98 goals is almost 20 a season.
he was good
But
okay
you think about it,
talking
right? You're
about
talking
Benzema
I mean, no disrespect. Arsenal as a football club is much bigger than Chelsea. Okay, I'm not saying it very rudely, but in general, because of the
No,
history.
Chelsea are a
they
small
have
club.
merchant. Top four merchant.
That we are a small club.
Top four merchants are okay, but you think about the club
yeah
what they are, right?
yeah they have
had
been
some
they have been
brilliant
bro
strikers.
Bergkamp वाला
they're
time
used
bro
to that sort of a player
Seriously,
जिसको
seriously.
30-40 गोल मारना कोई बड़ी बात
Stamp.
नहीं है. Olivier
they
Giroud
were
वो
okay
नहीं
with
है.
it they were okay with it मतलब ऐसे था कि मतलब वो लोग के हाँ तो वो लोग के
Arsenal
क्लब में
कुछ नहीं
हमेशा
कर
वो
रहे
लोग के
हैं
क्लब में हमेशा कोई ना कोई रहा है जो गोल मारता था हमेशा से ही वैन पर्सी से तो तुम मिल ही चुके थे
No comments on Van Persie.
हाँ ठीक है
Our cult hero. But moving
हाँ,
on to the game, Chelsea versus Madrid, and I don't want to delay it much. So I'll go to Deepan. Deepan, what is your predicted lineup for the game? I know Karan is going to agree to it, and so is Thomas Tuchel.
I mean, yeah, it's very, very easy for now, I think, because we have a few players.
Kepa at goal.
The Kepa is not going to be on goal. Mendy is going to be on goal. And see, the current Chelsea lineup that we have against West Ham, we have Mendy, we have Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger. Then we have Reece James and Chilwell. We have Kante and Jorginho, and Ziyech, Werner, and Mount. This is the lineup that I would ideally want, and I think I talked to Karan as well. This is the lineup that we would want ideally against Real Madrid. So ideal scenario for me is Kovacic, because he has been one of the best players for us.
Kovacic in whose place? Jorginho's place.
Now, yeah, I think we call it Kantacic because it's Kante and Kovacic. That's
the manager disagrees actually. The manager disagrees
right
because
now,
the manager still vouches for Jorginho a lot.
The way Jorginho has been playing for the last few matches against City, the performance that Jorginho had against City was too good. I've never seen him play that well, man. That was just too
even
good.
Napoli fans said the same.
Seriously?
Yeah, they said, I'm not kidding. I saw it on Twitter. And I was like, okay, not that bad.
If we play like that, the way we played against City, if we play like that, I don't see how Real Madrid is beating us. But again, saying that, it's Real Madrid in a Champions League. If something happens to them, and I mean,
yeah, they get possessed.
Toni Kroos का backspin वापस नहीं देखना हमें.
We have a lot of things at stake right now. You guys don't realize the gravity of the situation. It's Thibaut Courtois coming back. It's Eden Hazard coming back. It's the saviors of football versus the Perez club.
Okay, I want to add one more thing. It's go-kart versus Formula 1.
Okay.
Good try, yeah. Good try.
Good try. Give that try.
Seriously.
Good try. अच्छा हो गया उसने NASCAR versus F1 नहीं बोला.
Seriously.
अच्छा Rajdeep, you heard Deepan's lineup. It's not defensive, neither it is very attacking. It's a very balanced lineup. What he's saying is that he wants a lot of stability on the defense and across the wings, but pace.
5 attacking players.
And pace up front. It's clear pace. With those three, it's pace. Which means if you blink and you miss it, those guys will run riot. In that setup, what do you think Real Madrid are going to line up as?
We will go with
limited choices, of course.
Of course, we will go with our favorite 4-3-3 with Rafael Varane, Nacho and centre backs. And
who's your goalkeeper?
Absolutely, Thibaut Courtois, one and only. And we probably won't have Mendy because he is injured. We'll probably get Marcelo and Dani Carvajal and usual midfield trio. And on top, we will get Karim Benzema, the God, and Vinicius, and probably Marco Asensio, I think.
Now I have 2 questions. When you said the God, is it Benzema or like Vinicius? Which one you were saying?
Absolutely not. It's Karim Benzema always.
It's always Benzema for Rajdeep.
It's always
do you agree with the lineup?
See, I would tend to disagree a little bit. I would say that I have watched Chelsea since Tuchel has come, and they're defensively very solid. But at the same time, I don't have a lot of faith in them attacking wise. See, Werner
They
and
They
do.
Ziyech
also
can
don't
just
have. They also
yeah,
don't have. They are waiting for one chance.
We're waiting for
Werner
one
and
chance
Ziyech,
and we'll grasp it, bro.
Yeah.
We'll go
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
that's the
Well,
thing.
Werner and Ziyech can turn up and play the way they played against City, but in general, I think this is a team we can and should try to outscore. So if Eden Hazard is fit, I say definitely start him.
At whose place? Vinicius' place.
Yes.
At Vinicius' place, definitely.
Look.
Because see, Vinicius is best against tired legs. He has that pace, he has that dribbling ability. You bring him on at minute
We are
65 and
talking
he
about
can do
Vinicius
some.
Junior and not Anthony Martial, right?
No, I'm only talking
Yeah.
about Vinicius Junior.
Okay.
I'm not talking about
we
some
deal with
ice
one
cold
theory only at a
England.
time.
Oh, ice cold and all. Nahi, bhai, ice cold fans. There are Martial fans. Okay.
We
Okay.
just talk about one theory
Now,
only at a time.
if Hazard is fit, and it's a big if he plays tonight, if he is fit after that, we can see him. We can see him in the pitch.
Man, you know what's scaring me in the whole fixture? We are building it up. Okay, both set of fans, they know that the two big players come back.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be a bore fest like Madrid and Liverpool last game. It became
Or
a bore
every El
fest after a
Clasico.
point of time. Because Liverpool were clearly not in the mood to score. Madrid were more than happy. अरे मतलब goal तो हो गया.
But to just stay back. They were happy to stay back.
ठीक है, हम लोग बैठे हैं, तुम लोग आओगे तो देखा
हाँ,
जाएगा.
मतलब Madrid were so comfortable, right? It's like
Seriously.
I don't know why I'm talking so much cricket today. It's like scoring 700 on a test match and you're like, ah, theek hai, ab bana chal. Because they've already got that big
Right.
difference in the lead.
Clear.
I thought the game would have gone even, but then Madrid showed experience that day. They just did not allow Liverpool to build. Because Liverpool as a team is very dangerous when they build the tempo. We all know as Premier League team that, you know, when Liverpool start building their tempo and they start their
Right.
G-gen depressing or whatever, they really get annoying because you just
Gangnam
don't
pressing.
have the ball. हाँ मतलब जो भी मतलब you know right, there is a reason why you guys have always been beaten by them. Ball मिलता ही नहीं है ना, जैसी
Right,
ball
right.
they'll attack it, they'll win it back and they'll go and attack.
Pressing.
Madrid just did not let them get to a rhythm, and Casemiro, my goodness, he just stood up in that game and said like, who's the boss? मतलब
Seriously.
कहाँ कौन सा midfield
James Miller को डाला था ना बाजू में.
That
वो
was
single
one
में
of the
dialogue
best
है कि ये
moments.
मेरा
That
इलाका
was
है
one of the
types.
best moments कि like that the way he pushed Milner out of the ground.
Yeah.
पूरा धक्का मार के बोले कि वापस जा घर.
Michael.
So this is what I'm
Dot, dot.
saying. So the point that you said right now, I have a few stats and I have a few observations that I would like to say regarding that. So under Lampard, Chelsea had a XGA, like goals against that we have considered. The XGA was 0.98 and post-shot XGA. Post-shot XGA basically means when the player has already shot the ball and it is on target.
Target.
So XGA was 0.98 and post-shot XGA was 1.02.
Ooh.
Yeah. Under Tuchel, XGA is 0.47 and post-shot XGA is 0.19. The
Which means
difference,
it's more efficient in terms of
it's
Tuchel.
way more efficient.
Yeah.
It's way more efficient. And the reason behind this is what we have observed or what I have read as well is Lampard tried to win the ball way high up the pitch. And when he couldn't, he would want everyone to drop back.
Defensive laps. And there were
And that
spaces in
causes,
between.
that is why we had a lot of open spaces in the middle. Like
I know.
the players didn't know
You
when
might
to
know,
push
bro.
and when to come
Yeah,
back. Yeah, you might know. Yeah,
because we waited for
Yeah.
those spaces and you guys
Yeah.
kept giving
The
it
first
again.
match, bro. The first
Yeah,
match
first match.
itself.
4-0, no?
this
Yeah, bro.
yeah
It's-
yeah.
yeah.
And now again
And
under
Danny was very
Tuchel,
unlucky. He hit the inside of the post twice, but
We will not
under
talk
Tuchel,
about
we
it.
are a lot-
We're not
we are a
talking
lot
about
more
the past
composed.
games. We are here to
we
discuss about
more
Chelsea.
composed under Tuchel
Madrid.
actually.
yeah,
Let's go.
Tuchel. Okay, we'll not talk about hurting
Yeah, yeah.
moments.
Lampard.
I don't know
Yeah.
when my hurting moment will end, but ठीक है.
We are
Continue,
we are
Deepan,
also actually, you know, we have a lot more possession under Tuchel than we had against Lampard. You know, we average around
That's a
60 more
European
passes
mentality, no, Deepan. It was managed by an English guy. His
Yeah.
mentality is not possession. His mentality is to get 3 points
Yeah.
by, you know, like you rightly said in the start, by bombarding crosses.
Well,
Which league does bombarding crosses?
We
English.
have
Prashant,
played
uh,
about
United
five-
also tried.
We
United
literally-
also tried a lot of
We
crosses.
still do.
We
That's
literally-
because that's our way of playing football. United as a team always played that way, and we
Yeah,
can't
bro.
change it. That's the kind of profile of players what we sign as well. Sorry, Ajit, you were saying something.
We literally won a league and those UCLs because we bombarded crosses.
Yeah.
So
but your bombarding of crosses, there was someone else in between. Let's not talk about it.
The crosses came from Lucas Vazquez.
The one who cannot be named.
Yeah, the one who cannot be named. If he is playing, no, you put the ball wherever you want, and if he is in the mood to score, he'll score from 40 yards like he did against Porto. He will score from 5 yards like he did against Lyon and Marseille for us. So it's okay.
In addition to he who must not be named, we also had a professional golfer who was very proficient in the air and somewhat of a footballer back then.
He's still a good footballer, man. Just plays for the wrong club. He should ideally play for Madrid.
True.
We played for like that for Madrid, but fair. Last but not the least, guys, I'm not going to ask you to predict this game because I don't want to jinx this game. I really want it to be a good football game. So may the best team win, and I honestly don't care who wins out of you two because it's going to hurt me both ways. Because if Chelsea going to Champions League final, then and I don't know how to react to it because I'll be like, yaar, ye log bhi Champions League khel ke upar pahunch gaye. But if Madrid go to the final and if Pep also manages to make it there, then the whole Barca fanboys will build it up. But as Pep should win it for La Liga and all that crap. I'm not going to predict it for it, but I just have a simple question I'll probably ask individually to each of you in that sense. We've spoken about some big players today, right? We've spoken about Mount, Jorginho, etc., etc. But I'm sure there is a lot of X factor in both the teams. You know, there are some players whose name we haven't mentioned. For example, in Chelsea, I would mention Christian Pulisic because on his day, I mean, the game against Liverpool last year, Christian Pulisic came on at halftime. That defense did not know what happened to them. Right?
Yeah.
So in terms
Nutmeg on Joe Gomez.
Yeah, I mean, he just ran around Joe Gomez
Seriously,
in circles.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, why the hell didn't he start? Of course.
No one saw that coming, actually.
Sorry?
No one saw that coming. Neither the Liverpool defense, actually.
Not in Chelsea. Okay, fair. In that sense, Karan and Deepan, I just want to ask you, when you have a player like Christian Pulisic, you know that he is capable of doing these things. Of course, not consistently. There are his issues as well, injury, not being able to integrate well with the squad, finding a right position for him. Then you have another 86 million problem, right? Who starts, the engine gets warm, suddenly goes off the record. Then again, you have to start him. In those two players, right, who do you think is a bigger X factor for Chelsea as a team? Is it Kai Havertz or is it Christian Pulisic from the land of dreams for most people?
Okay, so I'll let Deepan take it first and then I'll put my points.
I think you don't want him to copy your answer, fair.
So different players, you know, X factor, if you talk about X factor and the ability to impact the game at any point of time after coming on, I think Christian Pulisic does that. Kai Havertz is someone who likes to grow, who will, you know, come into a game. He will grow into the
Pulisic
game.
Pulisic is Andre Russell and Kai Havertz is MS Dhoni. Okay.
Yeah, sort of. Kai Havertz is not MS Dhoni. I mean, he can be MS Dhoni. He can.
Yeah, he takes time to start, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. And if you want instant impact, I think Christian Pulisic is the man you should be going towards. For Kai Havertz, I think honestly, I don't think we should be playing Kai Havertz from, you know, as an impact sub. I don't think he can make an impact substitution.
He's probably not making the lineup. Where else are you going to fit him?
No way. He's starting.
He's not making the lineup in place of Mount, and no one is replacing Mount at the moment.
Correct.
You know.
And it will be very unfair because I think the only player who can replace Mount is not playing for City. He's not playing for Chelsea. He's playing for City. He's the only player who can replace Mount at that role. But even that's a tough competition. That's a very difficult choice to make between Mount and Foden. So of course,
but Kai Havertz has had a few really good games of late. You know, we saw that game against Palace where he, you know, played. He was amazing the whole game. I'm telling you. He was the touches he made, the runs he made, the passes he gave. He was
that's not
like
the problem.
2 or 3 steps ahead.
The problem is not his performance. The problem is consistency.
Consistency, that's what.
Yeah, when you pay that money, you don't expect him to just turn up against Palace. You want him
He's
to
still 21 years old. I mean, he has 10 years ahead of him. I'm sure if you pay 80 million for a guy, you would want him to score like 20 goals a season. Absolutely. I
honestly don't agree with the logic that you have age in your side, you will improve. If you're old enough, you're good enough. And
if you're good enough, if you are like Yeah. If
But,
you
and
are
the
paying
reason
the
why I'm
money up,
saying
you
is,
should
if you are
perform.
worth 80, see, market worth is secondary part. I'm not
Yeah.
going to comment on it saying that because a lot of factors which associate with it.
Money.
But you are Germany national team's golden boy, right? That's how he's billed as, and he is. When he goes
He
to
still
German
plays,
national
bro. He
team,
still
will
plays.
defend
He
Kai
still plays
Havertz,
as a number 10 for sure, always.
right?
Kai Havertz plays for Germany always.
Right. And so
Yes.
what happens to him at Chelsea? Is it the manager who can't integrate him, or is it just Kai Havertz himself that he's not able to adjust to the pace of the league? Both ways
So
can
right
happen, right?
right now, I think the formation that Tuchel plays,
Hmm.
the best place for him under Tuchel is a false nine, because we don't have a single number 10 who is, dictating the show, who is finding the balls in the channels or finding
Correct.
spaces in between. We don't have we have two number 10s or two inside forwards or whatever you call it,
Hmm.
right? And one striker. Either the two inside forwards will drift in and the striker will go ahead, or the striker
Correct.
will drop down and the two inside forwards will go ahead, or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's the kind of position that will fit Kai Havertz at the moment properly. When he was in Leverkusen or when he plays for Germany, he plays as a number 10. He has two wingers and one striker ahead of him, or a second striker. So
Correct.
that is the kind of role that he's used to playing.
Hmm.
Right now at Chelsea, I don't think there is a position like that which will allow Kai
Available for
Havertz
him to fill that role.
yeah.
Right.
So he
Fair.
probably has to adapt to a different kind of a role. Lampard tried playing him like that as a number 10, and obviously
But
Lampard
it didn't work.
didn't work out that
Yeah.
well.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
So Karan, do you agree with him that if it's impact, it's always has to be Christian Pulisic?
So I would have to go ahead with it. Yes.
Okay.
So talking about the substitution,
Hmm.
so Pulisic has to be the answer. But actually talking about the long-term replacement, I do think that Kai
Yeah.
Havertz is a better prospect as compared to Pulisic, because I still believe that the silkiness that he has in his game and the
He's
fluidity.
German, man.
Yeah, seriously, bro.
Pulisic is a glass.
German cars, bro.
Yeah.
Pulisic is
We'll
glass.
not talk about a guy who played for Germany and also Leverkusen and also Chelsea. Unlucky guy. But
Oh,
yeah.
we can talk about him. Like
Michael
yeah,
Ballack.
we can obviously talk about Michael Ballack any day. Like no one,
There was a
none of
different
us will
class to
mind
Michael
talking about
Ballack, and whenever I see Kai Havertz, I'm like, I know, I've seen that somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds.
Does Kai Havertz wear number 13 jersey?
21. No, 21
21.
is no 21 is Chilwell.
No, 21, right? He was
Achha.
21, I think. I'm not sure.
I mean, the guy doesn't even play. You guys don't even
Yeah.
remember his jersey number.
I don't know his jersey number. He hardly
Oh.
plays.
In
He
that
does
sense,
play,
Yeah,
Rajdeep,
he doesn't play.
Rajdeep and Shubhadeep, they spoke about
He's
Pulisic and
29
Havertz.
actually.
Sorry?
Havertz is 29.
29, yeah.
Okay. So these guys spoke about two players who are prospect, good, and if they come on as a sub, either of them, they think that Pulisic can change the game because of his pace, etc. In terms of your personnel at Madrid, who's your X factor? Two players who you think, if they come on, the game will be different.
Bro,
Definitely Rodrigo.
we hardly have the first 11 fit. We don't even have proper substitute.
But fair enough.
Oh,
He was
Definitely
available.
Rodrigo.
sent your substitute to Tottenham, by the way.
Yeah, that was your choice.
But that's not a footballer, that's a
That's not a
golfer.
footballer. That's not
Okay,
a
so here's one thing I would like to say. Fiorentino Perez single-handedly dismantled a century-old institution, went against the two of the biggest sporting bodies, UEFA and FIFA, and somehow he still can't sell Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
never invite an English
Gareth Bale
player.
is
See,
still a Real Madrid
this is this is something I want to say. A lot of players, they blackmail the clubs, they threaten to leave if their contract terms are not met. Gareth Bale threatens to join the club if his terms are not met. So this is an anomaly that Perez is dealing with. Like others say कि मैं चला
But
जाऊंगा.
Subhadeep, I wanted to ask you this, okay? I wanted to ask you mentioned a very interesting name, Rodrigo. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And we all know he's a prospect. He's good, but still not good enough to break into the lineup week in, week out. Okay. In that sense, what makes him so lethal? Why do you think that Rodrigo has that X factor to change a game? Is it just his pace, or just his dribbling ability, or it's just that when he is on fire, right, you can't stop him very quickly?
See, with the prior to his injury, it was his decision making. With Vinicius, it was lot of dribbles, lot of turns in the box, and eventually a shot into the stands like a Rohit Sharma 6. But with Rodrigo, the decision making is very good. That's why
I remember it well with Vinicius. So yeah.
Yeah. So with him, it's with Rodrigo. He has, I think, 9 goals and assists in 10 UEFA Champions League appearances. So this is a tournament that he succeeds in, and yes, he definitely has space to burn. So that's
And I think he is the
last-
youngest ever hat-trick scorer in Champions League or something like that as well. Right?
Yes, against Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, yeah. Rajdeep, do you
I
agree
would-
with it?
I would have to disagree with Shubhodip as he did with my lineup. I would go with either of Hazard or Vinicius, whoever doesn't start.
Hmm.
Because
I disagree with both of you, but okay, I'll tell who's my X factor according for me at Madrid.
because when the legs are tired, I think Vinicius can probably pull off a run inside, and I don't know, a deflection here or there and a Karim Benzema goal, and we all sleep happy.
Benzema has to be Benzema, right? For you.
It has to be
Or
Benzema.
has
No
to
one
be
else-
Benzema for you,
There is
bro.
no one else to
बॉक्स
score.
में कोई
Seriously,
नहीं
bro.
है, बॉक्स में कोई नहीं है और
और सिर्फ
एक
बेंजेमा
मिनट,
बॉक्स में रहता और कहीं नहीं रहता. But you know, Karan and
Chelsea का
Deepak,
top
my
scorer,
X factor-
Chelsea का
my
top
X
scorer
factor for
is
Madrid-
Jorginho, by the way.
Sorry?
Chelsea का top scorer is Jorginho, followed by
Penalties,
Kurt
bro.
Zuma.
Penalties.
Yeah, like Bruno.
Followed by Kurt Zuma.
Yeah.
In
You are
that
telling
sense,
this to a Bruno
Corners.
Fernandes fan.
That's okay. Penalties are goals.
So Chelsea has one top scorer like with 5 goals, another with 4 goals. United has one player with 20 goals, and that's it.
That's okay. How does it matter?
That's basically us. We have
How does
one
it
with
matter?
23.
I still, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. But first,
Yeah, bro. You were
my
saying
X
something.
factor for Madrid is Marcelo if he doesn't start. And I say this
If
because
he doesn't start,
yeah,
He will start. He will
Okay.
start. We
he
don't
will
have
start, and
many.
he is your X factor in the whole game for me because what Marcelo is so lethal and will be very effective against a lineup like Chelsea is his ability to send crosses. Chelsea, even
Bombing
though
down
they're
the
sound
left. Yeah, bombing down the
defensively,
left.
even though they're sound defensively, the whole flank of Azpilicueta is a bit weak there. Of course, he doesn't play on to the flanks now, but that whole flank is a bit weak because they tend to attack so much. Both Chilwell and Reece James, suddenly they lose sight of their defense, and it's happened quite some time. That is where experience of Thiago Silva comes in picture, because at that point of time, right, Thiago Silva is like this old grandfather or the father of those kids, where he says like, "Tu aage ja, main dekh lunga."
मैं संभाल लेता हूँ.
Protects the defense. That is where Thiago Silva is so lethal, so good at. And if Marcelo can breach that flank, any of the flank, right, either of them, while a cross-field pass or whatever, if Marcelo can breach them, then it'll be a very interesting game because there is Benzema who can really trap Marcelo's ball.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm gonna add one more thing here.
yeah,
Suppose if Marcelo doesn't breach that defense wall and he suddenly loses it, he just stays there.
yeah,
It's
that's
a
it.
factor for them.
Then it's a goal for you. Then it's
It's
a
like
goal for
it's
you.
factor for them. It's not for us anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is this, right? He might just take 1 minute. That's why you call these players as X factor players, right? I mean, they might just have one moment in the game.
Yeah.
You know, you don't call Ronaldo as an X factor because he's going to score. There's a difference between that, right? But these players are not players who can score every minute. They'll have one moment in the game, and that might be the big game changer. That's why I believe Marcelo. But
If we are not playing 4-3-3, I would have trusted Marcelo. We are playing 4-3-3. I don't trust him anymore.
I'm not going to ask you to predict, like I said before, but I really hope both the teams have a good game and may the best team win. It is always going to be the kings of Europe versus a team supposedly who was labeled as not a history club, but then are
ain't
on the
got no
path
history.
where they can make history all over again. No disrespect for Chelsea as a club, because for me, in the last decade or so, the most consistent club in Premier League has been Chelsea and Man City, for the reasons what they are, consistently finishing in Europe, winning.
and
the league.
recently the Oil brothers saved football.
Yeah, no comments. No
Okay,
comments on
bro.
ESL. But only Real Madrid and Barcelona will play the ESL. But okay, let's see. Having said all of it, I really hope you guys had fun, because I enjoyed hosting this, because it's set of two fans who can't argue on a similar plane, because there's nothing common between both set of fans apart from the two snakes or two players who left. But I really hope it turns out to be a good game, because I'm excited as a neutral to watch it, because it's better than watching Europa. So thanks a lot, guys. It was absolutely
Thank
fun.
you so
talking
much.
to you.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.